Welcome to the ASA Talk Show. My name is Allyson.
And I'm Aisha.
We're so glad to have you guys with us today. Let me tell you all, you guys will not stop commenting, will not stop inboxing us about our sex talk. Yes, I said the word, the sex talk.
Oh yeah.
Ever since we had Let's Talk About Sex, part 1 and 2, the marriages without sex, it's just been huge. I mean, like, it's been a topic that everybody wants to talk about with us, and we found out so many things, so many skeletons that's come out the closet. We're gonna leave those buried.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about it. What are we talking about? Aisha, tell us about what part are we talking about today, because this is now part 3.
Yeah.
We're not having a part 4, okay? So this is it. We've talked about it. I think y'all are trying to catch up with everybody else who hasn't talked about it. So what are we talking about today? Help me.
Yeah, so as you said before, we talked about, but we talked about sex 3 times. This is number 3. We also talked about, having sex after 40, some of the things you can do to keep yourself spruced up. But now we're going to talk about how we punish those men sometimes. With sex.
They're like, oh yeah, they're right on the edge of their feet. Y'all know we ask y'all like, share.
Please.
But you know what, men? I know y'all like, yes, y'all looking.
We didn't forget about them. We have to, because sometimes women can be a little scandalous themselves.
We can.
And we know, I have to be honest, I have been guilty of it, punishing with sex. And let me tell you, my go-to routine when it ain't nothing happening is some pants. I'm talking about pajama pants. I'll put on socks, a long sweatshirt if I can find one, a scarf, slather my face down in Vaseline. I just do the whole and I have to be honest, it's not always fair, y'all. You shouldn't do it. And I don't do it as often as I have done it, but I know women are guilty of that because we know that we have a jewel.
Yeah, it's like we have it over their head.
Yes.
Like weird, like you see a donut hanging and you're just looking up like.
Yes, and it's not fair. We really shouldn't do that. I want to get better, Allyson. What about you?
I really don't do that.
Okay. Thank you for your transparency.
I always get. But
do you not do it, or does it not work?
It don't really work. I'm not gonna lie. I tried. I'm like, I'm putting it on and I'm gonna look, and sometimes you're like, I don't care. Come here. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
But I know I have said things like in the past, okay, so you're not gonna do it. So what's okay. I got your number. Okay. So you already know what that means. But have you ever seen a man that is literally afraid to talk in front of his wife?
Oh, wow.
Like you see people, and the man, when he gets around his wife, he's like, but when you get him like at work or something by themselves, and you're like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, man, you doing all right? Man, I saw you the other night, and then because I know I've seen one coworker, and I'm like, hey, what's up? You doing? Hey, this my coworker. I'm like, well, why are you acting like that? But they are literally on a chain, or I hate to make that analogy, a chain or a leash, but they're so afraid to say anything in front of the woman. They're just totally different than they really are. It's like, man, when he get around her, he's just totally different. He don't say nothing, he don't laugh, he don't cut up. But is that because, I'm not saying that that's the case, but is it because we hold stuff like that? Oh, it's like we have the key.
I get you.
And we have this key, and if you act up, if you don't act the way I want you to act, then you won't get this.
Yes, and I've heard women talk about that a lot. Talk about how, if he don't do, he won't be getting none of this. He'll be sleeping on the couch and different things like that. It's not fair to do that because you know, at the end of the day, they don't do it to us. Now, I'm not saying there's not any men out there that, you know, hey, they may say, oh, you ain't getting none of this good, but you know, for the most part, it's us that usually do that, and it is not fair. What do you think are some things that we can do to not have to do that, you know, to a man? It has to be something else we can get through. What about communication and talking? When we've talked about this on some of the other segments, do you think if you talk about it, then, you know, it won't be so, you can go on and do the good? Right.
Right. And I've even had my husband say, I know you mad, I know you got an attitude, that's fine, you can get your attitude back in the morning, but right now, so, you know, that's my house, but I think that we can communicate more.
Yeah.
I think we need to stop doing that, because what we do unconsciously is that we put up a barrier against us and our husbands. You know, it's like we're putting up a wall where they are feeling more so as a child, in a sense, as opposed to an equal. And we should not make anybody feel that way, especially the person that we love and that we're here to do life with. So I say communicate, because when you communicate, you're able to actually talk to the person, find out, let's get to the root of this. But when you're holding something over your head, it's unfair. And we have to ask ourselves, what if somebody did that to us?
And you know, in a good marriage, in a good marriage where you do communicate, a lot of people don't realize that actually making love, sex, is a form of ministry to your partner. You know, when you can be going through something really hard, going through a tough time. Now, I'm not saying that it's gonna make it go away, the problem go away, but a lot of times it is a form of ministry, because you're becoming close with one another. You know, you're being intimate with that person. It can sometimes help you to get through certain situations. Will it help you every time? Is that the solution to it? I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, when you keep yourselves away from each other, that's definitely not helping the situation.
It's not, and it pushes you all further apart. And I think that I've talked about this, we've had so many shows, but you know, I remember my former pastor putting two people up together, and he put them like with their backs like this right here. And he said, okay, when you all are intimate, when you all are together, you're like this. But when you're not, you're like this. So and he actually had somebody standing there trying to get through when they were like this, and they couldn't. But when they began to get a little bit further apart, somebody was able to come through. Not meaning somebody physically, the enemy, you know. It's so many things, and you know that the devil's job is to kill, steal, and destroy. And y'all know I try my best not to be spiritual, but sometimes it just comes out. You know, so his job per se is to just break up the family. So that's one way of doing it. If your backs are not together, if you're not communicating, and if you have just the smallest gap, then it just leaves so much room open for other people to come, and then you're in a whole nother situation. So I definitely say don't do that, because it demasculates the man. And you know, like men don't have a lot, but they're a man. They have that masculinity about themselves. They have that I'm a man. But if you take that away from them, it's just, you know, they're not going to say, well, I don't feel like, because they don't express themselves like that. You may have some far in between, but I don't think that's our job. Our job is to build them up, to help them, and to make them feel like they're the king of the castle. And when we're doing that, I don't feel like we're doing that. We're tearing them down. And we know about the Bible that says the foolish woman about tearing a house down, and the wise woman building a house. So we're not doing that. But so many times, unfortunately, this is something we can talk about. It's been taught to us. It's may not be verbal, but we've seen our grandparents, our moms do it. So do you think that's being taught to us?
I'm so glad that you said that, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and see if that's really taught to us, and is that one of the reasons why. So we will be back in a minute, and we're going to dig a little bit and see why are we doing some of the things that we do when it comes to sex and holding back from a man. We'll be right back. I'm Aisha, and we are back. Me and Miss Allyson are talking about sex, and we are talking about learned behavior. So when we left off, Miss Allyson brought up a really good topic about learned behavior. Is this learned behavior? And you asked, what did I think about it? I think that for me, some of it was learned behavior. So on one of the segments that we talked about when we're talking about sex, I spoke on how my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather didn't even sleep together. When I thought about it, it wasn't just them. It was both grandparents on both sides. They didn't sleep together. And so when you see something like that, you really don't get the gist of the importance of sex. Now, I don't have to actually see you, you know, but I do at least need to see you sleeping together so that when I hear a conversation or you talk to me about the birds and the bees and stuff, I at least know that maybe you have participated in this because, you know, but when you're not sleeping together, it kind of makes you wonder. So I think that some of it, yeah, I may have picked it up from, you know, what I learned from family members. What about you?
My parents slept together.
Okay.
And I remember my grandparents sleeping together. I remember my grandmother having on a whole lot of clothes. So I don't, even though they slept together.
You think maybe she was,
you know,
mad at granddad?
older. But I know I can speak on my husband. Surely you don't mind. And they grew up in, oh my God, very, very, very strict religious household. And was a bad word.
Okay.
Just so they didn't talk about it. Even now, if you bring it up, they're like, "Oh God, Jesus," you know. But the thing is that hello, they were doing it.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that it took him. I mean, I'm just so liberal. Like I just talk about any and everything. You know. It comes up. It just comes out.
It's okay.
Him. When I would say that some stuff, he would just be looking at me like, Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah, you know we keep it real here on ASA Talk Show.
But I think, and he even admitted, you know, it's going to take me a moment because I'm not accustomed to this. I'm not. This isn't how I grew up. I grew up in a very structured household, very religious, and we didn't talk about this stuff. Well, that's just not good for you not to talk about it. So now I talk about it with my oldest daughter. She's 14, and I'm saying, hey.
Yeah.
You know, this is what happens when X, Y, and Z happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because we need to talk about it.
Yes,
so what they learn in the street.
Yes.
They learn from
and
trial
that's
and
not
error.
good.
And it's not good.
No.
So I don't think that it played a part with me, but I think that it definitely played a part with him because when I was, even some things I say now, he just
Allison, you know we have to watch it. Right. You say something, but I get it. I get
but
just
you know,
what you're saying.
What comes up, it just comes out.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to wonder, I wonder what she thinks because I'm gonna just tell you.
Yeah. And I like that about you. I like that it comes up and it comes out like that. And that's
like, I just say what everybody else is thinking.
That's right.
You're thinking it, I just said it.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking, he's just like, Jesus. You know, but he even said, you know, I'm glad that you're getting me out of this box because I grew up in a box where we didn't talk about this stuff. We didn't, you know, explain this. So I know that his learned behavior of growing up, I think that, and I'm not putting nobody business out there, but I think his baby brother slept in the bed with his parents until he was like 10.
Oh wow, yeah. And I'm
not saying nothing. I'm just telling you what they told me.
Yeah. And I have to be honest. God rest my mom and my dad. So I slept with my mom till I was like 12. Yeah, 12 years old. So, you know, and like I said, I know for me, some of it was learned behavior. But at the same time, with my husband now, who I love and adore, hey, sweetie, we make it a point to teach our children differently. We try to be affectionate in front of each other.
They need to see that.
They need to see that. And especially coming from when I raised my kids for a while by myself, so they didn't see me a lot of times with a guy being affectionate like that. They may have seen me going on some dates and maybe with other men, but not like that. So when I'm with my husband now, they get an opportunity to see the affection, you know, like we're not ashamed to kiss in front of our kids and to hug in front of our kids, and I get a slap on the butt every now and then, you know. So it's good to teach your kids, because if you don't teach them, just like you said, they're gonna learn it out there in the streets, and they learn it the wrong way. Some things they gotta learn on their own, but we need to give them some information so that they will know wrong from right, and you know what's good and bad, instead of learning all the wrong out there in the streets.
And let them see something that's healthy.
Yes,
you know,
it is
we
so healthy.
Dance and we kiss and the kids have us on the phone.
Yeah.
The other day, my husband was sitting there looking at me, and I said, "What you looking at?"
Yeah.
And my 6-year-old said, "Mom and Dad be looking at your booty." And I was like the whole shows.
Yeah.
But like we fought. I mean, like they just die. You know, kids are so silly.
Yeah.
But I was going, you know what? At least she knows and she's learning